Hey, what's going on everybody? Sean from PlayingFire.com here, back with my continuing education series where I read books popular in the financial independence circles, report back to you guys on what I've read, what I've learned, liked, maybe didn't like. Welcome to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad separated into different parts. They call them lessons. Quite frankly, I think this is a very interesting way to separate them. Welcome to lesson one. So lesson one is the rich don't work for money. Basically, it's a chapter surrounding the ideas that the rich literally print their own money. Very interesting concept. The first part of this chapter is titled The Lesson Begins. Basically, the author Robert and his friend Mike both go to school together. They grew up in a neighborhood where they lived across the tracks in the poor neighborhood, but due to zoning laws, they ended up going to school with the rich kids. And then that kind of created this entire dynamic where all of their friends had money to spend on different things and they did not. So the author actually kicks it off with a very interesting story. Basically, all of their friends have things that they want, whether that's bubblegum, baseball cards, comic books, who knows? So the author asks his dad for money to buy these things, and he goes, well, if you want it, you're gonna have to go make it. So the two boys come up with an idea. Basically they collect different things from different people around the neighborhood, and then they start their own process. They melt down what they find, they pour it into molds, and they literally go and print their own money. This is a really endearing story. These kids are 9, so it's not really a huge felony. Well, it's still a felony, but it's not really a big deal. They're not doing something crazy illegal at an age where they knew that they were doing it. So they had a conversation after when the poor dad or educated dad, they'll be used interchangeably in this book, sat him down and said, no, you can't literally make money. Why don't you go talk to Mike's dad? He owns a couple businesses and he'll set you straight. He can probably tell you how to make money. So they do exactly that. They set up a meeting with his friend's dad because they want to figure out how exactly they can make money. Next section, titled 30 Cents Later, they have a meeting with the rich dad. Basically he says, I'll tell you what, you work for me, and in exchange, I'll tell you how to become rich. Work at the store, I'll pay you 10 cents an hour. In exchange, I'll teach you how to become rich. So it should be noted that 10 cents an hour, even at this point, is not a lot of money. It's considered under minimum wage, it's a pittance, it barely buys a comic book for the boys at the end of their 3-hour shift, so they're trading their baseball games and their time out with their friends for 10 cents an hour. So the next section is titled Waiting in Line on a Saturday. So they're fed up with getting paid 10 cents an hour, and they decide to go and talk to rich dad about this. Poor dad actually tells him, hey, stand up for yourself, that's what you have to do. So they go and they wait, and they wait, and they wait, and after a few hours, they finally get to the point where they're able to speak with him. This was Rich Dad's first lesson. Rich people earn their money, poor people blame their lack of money on the rich people. So basically, he had them working for 10 cents an hour to teach him a lesson. He sits them down and goes, this is exactly what my employees say to me. You don't pay me enough, I need more money. And this really comes upon 2 excellent quotes, and I'm gonna read those verbatim here. Number 1, life teaches by pushing. You can either let it or push back. And number 2, if you think I am the problem, you have to change me. If you realize that you're the problem, you can change yourself. It's actually very enlightening. So basically, it really does tell the story. If you want more money, or if you want to become financially independent, you can either ask your boss for more money, at which point he probably has to go to his boss and they have to go to their boss, and then eventually they come up with a pittance and they give you a bit of a raise, or you can go out on your own. Now, is everyone going to become a business owner? Absolutely not, but it's still an interesting way to think, and this is definitely how the rich people think. For his next lesson, Rich Dad sits the kids down and goes, listen, I want you to continue to work for me, but I'm not going to pay you anymore. So basically, he's offered them even less money, and because they know that this is a lesson, they decide to take him up on it. A couple weeks later, the author's fed up, tells his friend, hey, I'm done. I can't keep working for no money, trading my baseball games and my bubble gum on Saturdays. His friend then goes, great, I'm so happy you're ready to quit. My dad told me to tell him when you were ready. So they go into another meeting. Rich Dad sits him down and he goes, hey, I'm gonna pay you 50 cents an hour, 5 times more than they were making before. Mind you, this is 50 cents more than the 0 cents they were making currently. They wanted to reply, they wanted to say yes immediately, because this was so much more money than they've ever considered in their lives. But they knew they shouldn't just let it go. They should just wait. So he goes, 75 cents. And then eventually they settle on $1, and they still don't say anything. So Rich Dad goes, congratulations, you basically made the first smart choice you've made about your money in your lives. And to quote, they say, people's lives are ruled by 2 emotions, fear and greed. So what he was trying to teach the kids is to separate emotions from from the actual dollar amount being offered to them. By being able to do that, they now have control over that emotion, which gives them a lot more bargaining power. Rich Dad then explains, if you keep coming to me for money, you're always going to be capped by what I'm willing to give you. You have to really go out there and make your own money. So these boys working at a convenience store, one of the things they noticed was that they keep throwing away these comic books. Basically, they tear the front cover off, throw them in the trash, and then no one does anything with them. So they asked the person they're working with, hey, can we take these home? And they said, you know what, sure. Just promise you don't resell them because that would be no good. They said, fine, we won't resell them. So what they did, now they have these comics that they're getting for free that they used to spend money on, which, considering that was probably one of their primary expenses, that's a huge savings. They decide to open their own comic book library. So that way, kids can pay a flat fee, they can come in, read as many comic books as they want in the 2 hours that they're open, and then they can come back the next time and read even more. Technically, this is circumventing the one thing that they were told not to do. They were told not to resell the comic books, and they absolutely did not. They played within the rules that were confined to them. Very similar to the way the rich people plays within the tax codes and similar things. And they made their own money. They were making $9.50 a week, open 2 hours a day, and they paid their little sister $1 to keep an eye on the library. Very interesting way to demonstrate how rich people think. So in conclusion, I'm going to keep this conclusion very short. This book, I love this book. The way it's written, very easy to read, very entertaining. Quite frankly, it gives you a lot of great examples and demonstrates exactly why and exactly how rich people think. I'm really looking forward to continuing this process. I have a lot more of these videos to create because quite frankly, this is an excellent way to get into it. I'd love for you to read that with me. If you like the content I'm producing, I would love a like. Hit me with that subscribe. If you have any questions, join the discussion at planningfire.com or leave a comment below. Always happy to get comments and feedback, especially with the new recording setup. Trying to hammer out the kinks, but I think we're doing much better. Until next time, I'm Sean from planningfire.com, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.